Top assassin prepares to kill a presidential candidate, but gets exposed through a reflection. Yet seeing this situation, Eddie doesn't plan to dodge, but quickly calculates the bullet's flight distance and position. At the moment the assassin shoots, he slightly turns his body, deliberately letting the bullet graze his shoulder. This thrilling scene both guarantees his own safety and wins him a huge wave of sympathy votes. The assassin doesn't know he has superhuman intelligence, because his brain has been developed to 100%. Turns out 6 months ago, Eddie was just an unemployed drifter, hiding at home every day writing novels, but no one read them. Then this day while walking on the street, he actually ran into Matt. The guy was covered in designer brands, clearly doing quite well, but when asked what he'd been up to lately, Matt mysteriously pulled him to a corner, took out a mysterious little pill, said he'd been a guinea pig at a pharmaceutical company. Recently they invented this magical pill. Just swallow one, and it instantly develops your brain. Since Eddie was his good friend, Matt kindly gave him one. If he felt it worked well, he could repurchase through the address on the label. Eddie didn't believe it would do anything, and immediately swallowed it. But when he got home, he found his landlady had just come to collect rent. Eddie felt a bit embarrassed. He didn't have a single penny right now. She immediately started scolding him. Suddenly Eddie felt a wonderful sensation rushing to his brain. His brain was instantly activated, just by looking at the landlady once. The next second,
You don't like me and I don't blame you. You see a self-defeating, energy-sucking piece of shit who's sponging off your husband. You're wishing I'd blow my brains out, but my existence shouldn't make you this upset. What is it?
That's none of your business.
Something wrong in law school?
How do you know I'm in law school?
People who aren't usually don't carry around dry, academically constipated books about a dead Supreme Court justice.
You're a creep, aren't you? You've been following me.
the woman couldn't believe it. How could he know? She was studying for a law exam. Turns out her bag had exposed a book, which Eddie caught sight of. He instantly recalled. 1,000 years ago he had flipped through this book. At that time all the information in the book appeared in his mind. Eddie talked about his insights on law, which sparked the woman's interest. She was amused by Eddie, and agreed to let Eddie write her paper, to waive this month's rent. After returning home, Eddie felt very energetic. It only took him 1 minute to clean the entire house. Then he sat in front of the computer. Various plots appeared in his mind. Before long, he had written an entire novel. When he submitted it to his boss, the boss was stunned, and decided to pay him double the fee, telling him to write the next version immediately. After gaining powerful abilities, Eddie felt he was about to reach the peak, but after sleeping, Eddie felt completely drained. His originally clear mind became muddled again. Turns out the drug's effect only lasted 24 hours. Once it passed, Eddie would become an ordinary person again. He had to find Matt to get more pills. Eddie bought a gift and went to Matt's house, but strangely, the door wasn't locked. Pushing the door open, the scene inside startled him. It looked like a shootout had just happened here. Things were scattered everywhere, and Matt, sitting on the sofa, had completely stopped breathing. Eddie forced himself to calm down. The room was turned upside down like this. Eddie instantly understood. The criminals must be looking for the mysterious pills. Eddie immediately put on gloves and started searching. But after searching the entire house, he couldn't find where the pills were. Eddie was about to give up, but suddenly he noticed Matt's house had a lot of takeout containers. Eddie instantly realized, a person who never cooks, why would they have a dishwasher at home? He quickly rushed forward, carefully searched inside the dishwasher. Sure enough, in the hidden compartment at the bottom, he found several hundred mysterious pills. The man just swallowed the pill, and his brain was instantly redeveloped. In half a minute he learned a foreign language. In 1 minute he mastered a musical instrument. Even at the gambling table, he could keep winning money. But even so, he still felt the money was coming too slowly. Eddie opened his computer, and used all his money to invest everything in the stock market. In just 1 week, he successfully multiplied his principal by 999 times. But making money this way was still too slow. He borrowed 10 million from loan sharks, and then with even higher intensity, tracked and predicted the market. Before long, he became a big shot in the stock market. His colleagues didn't understand why he would buy stock in a company about to go bankrupt, but Eddie just smiled contemptuously. He deduced that the charges against the company's CEO were false, and would be overturned next week. By then the stock would soar. And the facts were exactly as Eddie predicted. The money Eddie invested multiplied exponentially, and the boss saw his potential, and arranged an opportunity for him, which was to meet with the stock god Batra. That day they met at a restaurant, and facing such a big shot, Eddie spoke eloquently, and directly revealed his secret.
Who wants to do all that work for a shitty little uptick? It's not the visceral kind of spike you want in short-term holding, so
I dispensed with all the hard statistics and I went right to the rumor mill.
So you bought your stocks based on what? The Tom Thomas meeting in the street?
Sure. I mean, share prices aren't really based on how a company works. It's about how mass psychology works. So if I found certain algorithms in the perception of a stock.
Pattern recognition. That's your snake oil.
Well, not everybody understands the patterns. And that gave me a little bit more of an uptick, but it's just a parlor trick. So then I went on to door number 3.
Are you really implying that you have some sort of ultimate formula?
Well, from 12,000 to 2.3 million in 10 days.
I do have a formula, Mr. Pierce.
Delusions of grandeur.
I don't have delusions of grandeur. I have an actual recipe for grandeur.
The stock god was impressed by his abilities and extended an invitation, hoping Eddie would join his company. After getting out of the car, Eddie felt his life was about to transform, but just as he walked out, he felt something was wrong. His reflection in the mirror showed a double image. He staggered and almost fell on the street. Before he could react, a strong sense of dizziness hit him. When he came to his senses again, he found himself standing on a bridge, but all his previous memories were gone. The pill's duration was 24 hours, and for the super brainpower experience, he had been taking it continuously for over a month. Clearly his brainpower was overdrawn, seriously affecting his physical condition. Eddie struggled back home and slept for a day and night before recovering. He quickly checked the information to figure out what was happening, but since the pill was still in development, its side effects couldn't be confirmed yet. Eddie panicked. He searched through Matt's notes, which recorded information on all the test subjects, but when he called them, he found almost no one answered, and those who did pick up had all taken the transparent pill and died for various reasons. Eddie never imagined the pill's side effects were this severe. He finally managed to contact one person, but when he saw her, he found she was in terrible condition, tormented by the pill's side effects. The woman said that half a month ago, she was still the company's top salesperson, but after taking the pills continuously for 2 months, her mind suddenly started blanking out. She experienced memory loss symptoms every day. In just one day, she aged 80 years. Her bodily functions began to deteriorate, and doctors couldn't treat her either. She warned Eddie not to use the drug anymore, or he would end up just like her. One would think that Eddie would stop using the pills, but instead he took them more aggressively than before, because to escape the fate of being a loser, he had to go all in. Eddie used all the money he earned to set up a laboratory to develop this pill. This way, he would have an unlimited supply. At the same time, he went to that company and used his IQ to create amazing results for them. As long as he could keep making money, he could keep doing experiments and continue researching ways to eliminate the side effects. After learning everything there, Eddie decided to quit and start his own company. This displeased the stock god, because once Eddie left the company, he would gain a powerful competitor. But Eddie was determined to leave and casually rejected the stock god's attempts to keep him. Little did he know that this action would bring him trouble. Eddie's company had just opened. When the stock god came to his office, he appeared to congratulate Eddie, but he also mentioned that he already knew why Eddie had such high intelligence. It turned out he discovered Eddie was taking the pills and spent 100 times the price to buy out Eddie's laboratory. Now he would lose his drug supply. However, the stock god wouldn't go for the kill. He only wanted Eddie to continue working for him and could regularly supply Eddie with pills. After hearing this, Eddie smiled contemptuously and followed the stock god outside. But when they reached the car, Eddie asked the stock god to leave. He wouldn't continue working for him. Then Eddie said something strange.
The van's gonna rear end that taxi.
What?
The driver's distracted. He's texting. He's going 30 miles an hour. He's 60 feet to stop. He doesn't have room.
What the?
The stock god didn't know that Eddie's brain had developed to 200% and no longer needed to rely on this drug. Eddie touched the stock god's heart and instantly diagnosed his heart problem and provided professional diagnostic advice. After hearing all this, the stock god left dejectedly, while Eddie walked away coolly to meet his girlfriend at a restaurant for a date. With his high intelligence, Eddie, from that moment on, would have a happy life.
大大明两个主要兵称中小龙虾，千万不要给我违禁啊！
围巾会保护你的衣服。
可是会把我当脏做啊！